For my presentation, I chose to highlight the Alabama Technology Standards and to compare them to the ISTE standards. Merriam-Webster defines technology as the use of science and industry, engineering, etc., to invent useful things or to solve problems. Also, a machine, piece of equipment, method, etc., that is created by technology. These two definitions are very important for us to keep in mind as we educate our students for the future. Technology and society. There is no denying that technology is an important part of our society. It seems like we are surrounded by technology at all times. We have computers basically in our pockets from our phones. So today's students are digital natives. They've had a piece of technology in their hands since they were born practically. And they are very well versed in knowing how to use technological tools. And so they're surrounded by technology at all times. This should also be the case in the classroom because students need to know how to use technology tools to their benefit to encourage them to use it for something more than just fun and games. We should facilitate our learning with the technology, make sure that our lessons are useful and not just something to replace another, like a textbook or something like that. But the technology should facilitate and engage and allow the students to guide their own learning. So in order to be competitive academically, Alabama must change their technology standards to more closely mirror the ISTE standards for students. Our technology standards are very outdated, and we need to look more in depth on changing those. One way we can update the curriculum is by looking at our technology standards. Alabama's technology standards were written in 2009. That is 7 years ago. As far as technology is concerned, a lot of things have happened in 7 years. So if we follow the technology standards that were written in 2009, our students are being shortchanged. They are not getting the full benefit of learning what technology is today. They are outdated and generic. The technology standards of Alabama are not higher order thinking. They do not require much critical thinking, and it doesn't require much from our students to complete those technology standards. So if we continue to use the technology standards that were written in 2009, our students in the state of Alabama could fall behind academically, and this could cause them to not be competitive as far as college is concerned. That includes getting into college, as well as when they are in college. They are not going to know how to do some of the things the professors are requiring them to do, and that might cause them to drop out and not complete their degree. We need to keep in mind that most students do not use traditional computers to sign on to the internet or to do technological things. So when we are updating the curriculum and changing the new standards, we need to change them to include other things than just computers. Students can use things such as, like I said before, their phones, tablets. There are Chromebooks as well. So we need to make sure that when we are including these technology standards and changing them, that we keep in mind that other things can be used. And we also need to keep in mind that other types of technology tools can be used in the classroom as well. So if you're in a system that does not have a one-to-one initiative, you might consider asking your administration to allow you and allow your students to bring their own devices. One thing that we need to do to change the standards for the Alabama course of study in technology is to change them to be more student-centered. There used to be an approach of teaching called Sage on the Stage, where the teacher was the keeper of the knowledge, and he or she stood in front of the class and lectured. That approach is no longer effective in today's classrooms. Our students are millennials, and they are used to not listening to, they know where knowledge comes from, and they are the keepers of their own knowledge because they believe that they can Google the answer to anything. So we need to teach them how to guide their learning to where they need to go rather than just randomly searching the internet for things. If we want to produce deep thinkers and problem solvers, we must set our standards so they require higher order thinking. And we need to teach them that technology is not just fun and games. It's a tool, first of all, and it's a tool of exploration and guided inquiry. Like I said before, it's very important that they not just randomly search the internet. They know how to use certain tools to benefit their learning and to guide their learning. And they will be more engaged whenever they are guiding their own learning. Like I said before, our students of today are millennials, and they are more of the PlayStation mindset and not the board game mindset. So most of us, I know I myself, am more of a board game mindset person, which means before I do any kind of activity or game or lesson, I want to know all the rules before I start. But my students are not that way. My students are more of a PlayStation mindset, which means they jump right in, start playing the game, and learn the rules as they go. So we need to keep that in mind whenever we're planning things as far as technology lessons, and also whenever we are looking at our technology standards. Another thing that would allow us to enhance our technology standards is if we change them to be more globally minded. We know that technology has shrunk our neighborhoods and it has shrunk our world. We can very easily get in contact with someone in another country, and our students need to see that. So it needs to be more than just a special thing for students to connect with other classrooms, other teachers in other parts of the world. It needs to be more of a norm. So once they connect with those students across the world, they will see that there's much to be learned from the other cultures and that the world is much more than just what's in their backyard. So because technology is very personal, it can personalize your experience with the other cultures. A student could choose to email another student in another country, video conference with those other students. A teacher could video conference her class with another class on the other side of the world. So we need to keep in mind that there is more than just our backyard, our one tiny little school, and there's a lot of things to be learned around the world. So technology allows us to connect with other people and learn and enrich our experience. If we change the standards, we can close the achievement gap. We know that Alabama has performed poorly on standardized evaluations in the past, and if we include more detail on our technology standards, that would help us to teach our students to be deep thinkers and problem solvers, like I said before. So I believe that our standards in Alabama should look more like the ISTE standards. So what is ISTE? ISTE stands for the International Society for Technology and Education. The standards emphasize the skills and qualities we want for students, enabling them to engage and thrive in a connected digital world. They are designed to be used across the curriculum with every single age and every single student. So the ISTE standards focus on 7 top things. Those 7 standards for students were reevaluated and updated and printed in 2016. So the 7 standards are to make an empowered learner, a digital citizen, a knowledge constructor, an innovative designer, a computational thinker, a creative communicator, and a global collaborator. So you can see beside each one of these main topics, there is a definition or an explanation. And if you're on the ISTE website, when you click the View Indicators, there are several different topics underneath each one. So these are very detailed standards that are current with our world today. So in conclusion, I would like to say that I do not think that we should just use technology for technology's sake. It shouldn't just replace your textbook or just have the kids search a website for fun. We should be creating technology-rich lessons to enhance their learning, to ensure engagement, and to help them achieve more in the classroom and later on in life. So in order for our students to be prepared for an evolving technological world, we must update our state standards for technology. And these are my references. Thank you.